Jesse, good. How are you? There's Janie. How are you, Janie? What's up, Brian Beard? First, can Jesse, Janie, Brian, and Blue Days hear me? Red Cardinal, Joey G. What's up, Carol? How are you? Good to see you, Blue Days. William H. Winter Sky, how are you? Luxury Slim, what's up? What's up, DB Mac? How are you, buddy? Lisa McDonald, how are you? Otis Driftwood. Eric Johnson, good evening, good morning. What's up, Henry? How are you, buddy? Monica Bruce. Joseph Cannon, how are you, buddy? Devony, how are you? Devony Siobhan? Delirium, what's going on? Naroshi, how are you, my friend? Ryan Hess, how are you? Yeah, actually, I shared it on the channel probably 3 weeks ago, Luxury Slim. Interesting video. What's up, Frank? How are you, buddy? Gen X, how are you, Addicted? This isn't a new look. This is just like a regular look where my hair, I can comb it finally. Hey, Poppy, how are you? What do I think it was? I think it was something dimensional, to be quite honest with you. Luxury. I think it was I guess not like a poltergeist or spirit or anything like that, but something dimensional or alien of nature. Not a Bigfoot or a Dogman. Do I know something about Brazil? A little bit. I've got a couple of videos that are banned from YouTube that I have here. I know there's a lot of caves in Brazil that I think were built by cryptids because of the claw marks and such. What's up, Lee Shepard? How are you, buddy? Grizzly? Randall Kennedy, how are you, my friend? Claire Harris. Donna Royale, how are you? What's up, Nick? Be safe. William Jawbone. Hey, Simone Hamilton, how are you? From the land down under, Simone Hamilton, eating her Vegemite. Ford sucks. Chevy rules. Three Mom, how are you? We got some snow. $20, 20 bucks. Oh. Maybe someone's out there shoveling. That was for you, DB Mac, a little early one. Too much fight. Randall Kennedy, holy shiznizzle. Thank you, my friend. With the cool Voltron looking thing. That's awesome. I like that little gift. I don't like snow, especially when it comes on Saturdays, because thanks, MJ. I just got it trimmed, you know. I like, what was it, last year at around this time? I got it cut and I just get it trimmed and then grow it out. That's all I really wanted to do when that turd face carved the chunk of whatever. Jeff, your weather is it is terrible. Weather is, I don't know. But anyway, on Saturdays, I can deal with snow. I don't mind shoveling snow. I don't mind snow blowing. But because I have to do my yard and then my parents' yard. But on Saturdays, it blows ass because then I have to get ready for all day Saturday. I have to get all the videos ready for Saturday. I have to get prepped for tonight and then prepped for tomorrow morning. And then there's like 3 hours of the day spent on fucking shoveling and stuff. I'm a man of many styles. Jesus. Yes, like anybody out in California, I hope that I pray for everybody that is in California. Anybody that has been mishoused or whatever the correct word would be. Just a terrible, terrible. The ATF is now put in play to figure out what started the fires. And I'm interested to see how the ATF's what their information and investigation will look like, to be honest with you. No, Melanie, no, go forth. Melanie, go forth. I do not sleep. Just a little bit. A little bit. Oh, I'm so sorry, Blue Days. Yes, your grandpapa will be in my prayers. Terrible. Death is terrible. Just sucks nuts. Yeah, there's many videos out of Brazil. I've got one that is like a real video from Brazil with the village that got attacked. That every time I put it online, it gets taken down immediately. I don't know if they need to be abolished. I wouldn't say abolished. I would say regulated more so. Like I think that our government, I mean, we are technically the last free country in the world, I guess you'd say. I just think that, our founding fathers, the idea was great. We just needed to follow it more, or not we, because if we followed it, our country would probably be a hell of a lot better off than what they are doing. But you know what I mean? I just think that there should be certain organizations in play as long as they do what is meant for them to do and don't overstep. You are not that late, Melanie. You are not that late. And it's better late than never, right? That's what my mom always used to say. What's up, Jersey Nightcat? How are you, dear? Tom Gertie, what's going on? Aw, Bandit, the red-nosed pity. Give Bandit a hug for me, Gertie, please. What's up, Sunny Wandering Gypsy? So I have got 2 awesome lot lizard stories, and I'll tell you what, I spent some time on these fuckers, so I hope you guys like them tonight. And I've got some really awesome experiences to share for tonight, so I was fast asleep 10 minutes ago. What's up, Storm in Alaska? Every time I see Storming Alaska's name, I think of 2 things. 1, that it's storming, or 2, a bunch of Canadians are storming into Alaska, which would kind of be funny to watch. Hey, you got any beer, eh? My dad is doing well, Randy man. Evan Hawk, you are not late. You are not late. What's up, Rihanna? How are you? Late for an important date. I wouldn't say it's that important. I mean, we are important. We all are important. We are a whole different kind of ball game here. We are the kind of like black sheep of the cryptid organization or cryptid world. I have a bunch of Reddit posts all talking about how much I'm hated. So funny. Jeff Nadolny is such a fucking asshole. That's funny, Jeremy. Go to sleep, little Jeremy's youngest. Go to sleep, you little one. That's all. They're just jealous. They're really jealous people, or they have nothing better to do except to talk about some idiot from upstate New York. I got my Lake George, New York Bigfoot cup. I've got a Red Bull, wishing it was the Sea Blue edition. And I've got a wonderful Coca-Cola this evening. No glass Cokes, unfortunately. No glass Cokes tonight. Organic Machina, how are you? Savage Lunatic, what's going on, my friend? How are you? Sunshine Daydream Believer, and Samara, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for Liz Sisney. Thank you so much for the new book to add to my collection. I appreciate it. That's cool, MJ. Thank you. The Juneberry, yes. Nicholas Carroll, you are. Is it the Juneberry? Yep, it is the Juneberry. What's up, Five Rings? Five Rings, what do you think the Dodgers are going to do for the year 2025? It's not looking good for us this year, I don't think. It's really not. Mondak, how are you? Billy Blue? Because he needed the money? Oh! Oh, just an old throwback to Andrew Dice Clay. Those were the days. Remember the days where you could just buy like a cassette and listen to it, and it was just so not politically correct, like Dr. Demento, the Christmas songs. Oh, God. Yeah, I know, but it's just something, I don't know. I got to, I don't know. I don't think the Mets are going to be a force to be reckoned with this year, though. Holy shit. Yeah. Andrew Dice Clay or George Carlin, like old George Carlin back in the day. Tyler 420, what's going on? I don't know if Liz did hear me to thank her for the yeah, that's exactly it, Five Rings. Liz, I just want to thank you for the books to add that you gave me the other day on the path to the immortals. Freaking so awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Here, Jerky Boys were funny as shit too. You're absolutely right, Gertie. Danny Sanders. All right, here we go, my friends. We got 208 people and only 70 likes. Holy cow. I didn't see you, so that's why I wanted to make sure that I thanked you again, Liz, because you have no idea. When I opened it, I was so happy. What's up, JCM? How are you? John Holtz, Wild Man's mom, how are you? I don't even know where to begin. Over the years, I have filled many personal journals trying to understand my situation. I was barely 19 and had just escaped from being locked up by a sadist who trafficked me the entire time. I didn't know how to even process what I had gone through, and my PTSD was terrible. I couldn't tell my family what happened because of the shame I felt. Having been raised a Catholic, I thought that I was to blame for everything. My parents couldn't understand what was wrong with me either and didn't try. Instead, I was a scapegoat for everything wrong, and it was a constant clash of will between them and me. One night, I drove out to the lake just outside of town. My intention was to jump off the jetty into the rocks and freezing water. All I could feel inside was pain, and I wanted it to end. Sleep was elusive as the nightmares of what had been done were constant. Smells, sounds, touch. It was all too much, and I wanted it to end. I don't know how long I sat there, willing myself to finally end everything. It was cold and raining. I was soaked from head to toe. Finally, the tears streaming down my face mixed with the rain, and I jumped. Only I didn't land. I was kind of floating in midair, but I was no longer cold, wet, or afraid. At first, I thought I was dead because it was warm and bright, and I had no pain or fear. As I looked around, confused, I heard his voice in my mind. It was like a swirling sound of music and joy. There were no words spoken aloud. Instead, I felt his words in my heart. He told me that everything was going to be okay, but that it was not my time. He showed me images of my life and told me that I had work to be done. Nothing he showed me made sense, but at the same time, it felt exactly right. He explained that while my life had been painful to that point, my suffering had ended. He took that pain and confusion and replaced it with love and understanding. He told me my life would not be easy, but that it was necessary in order to do what I was supposed to do. He didn't tell me what my mission was, only that I would know what to do whenever I was needed. It felt like I had been wrapped in love and light for hours, but it was only a few moments. Still, when I got back into my car, I was completely dry, my cheeks flushed. I was no longer cold, and I finally felt free of the burning pain and anger I had been dealing with. I vowed to remain open to any messages that would do as advised. It's been 27 years since then, and I know that I have been doing as asked. It's never anything complicated. It's just having a conversation with someone. Other times I've needed to help or befriend someone to help them. I am never told directly what I am supposed to do. Rather, it's a feeling. I have never heard of anyone else having an experience like this, but it is special to me. Thank you. Guardian Angel. I figured I'd start the night off with that one because it was a freaking awesome kind of guardian angel experience. Eric Thomas, that's not true at all. There are many people that can talk to the deceased truly, not just native people. And I'm native. Like I have my CDIB card. So I'm I'm not a Liz Warren Native American. Liz Warren Native American. That is the best. What's up, Max Mad or Mad Max? Yeah, I don't want to talk to the dead. Fuck that. What are they going to tell me about? Bad stuff? No, thank you. Hello. My ex-bro. I don't even know why my head just went like. All right, so I don't know if you guys remember the experience that George had with the Dogman in Camp Lejeune. He had been stationed there and seen them multiple times. And then his best friend, after they had gotten out of the Marines, his best friend had bought in property in the vicinity of Camp Lejeune. And he had been shooting out at a range in his best friend's property and had a Dogman experience. Well, ironically enough, I ran across this experience and I was like, holy cow. I actually sent this to George so he could read it for himself. Hello, sir. My ex-boyfriend was stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and after he and I split up, I stayed in coastal Carolina for a few years until the recession hit hard in the area in 2008. I packed up and moved back west to where my family is originally from. I loved it there. My son and younger daughter still do live there. I can't go into fine details because this is not my story, but I think my then 10-year-old son saw a Dogman in the woods on Camp Lejeune while he and his little buddies were out playing one evening. He was so freaking terrified, and I had to have our pastor come over at 11 p.m. at night to talk to him and confront him. He kept talking about a giant black dog that had been stalking him, going from tree to tree, where it would stand up, lean against the tree, and stare at them. We had pet dogs, big hound dogs, so I couldn't understand why he was so scared. I asked if the dog had been trying to bite him or had chased him, and he said no. So at the time, I had no explanation for why he was so upset. After hearing about the Dogman these last couple of years, I began to wonder if that is what he saw. So I asked him. He's nearly 30 now. He says he doesn't know what I'm talking about, which I find strange because at the time it was so traumatic for him. Whatever it was that he saw, he stayed up all night crying. I've since listened to a couple of experiences from Marines who claim to have seen Dogmen at Camp Lejeune as well. So I wonder. Biggest reason why he doesn't remember it is because he bottled it up and stuffed it like so many people do. And Aeromic, what's up, buddy? Dave Maxwell, how are you, buddy? OG Hash, how are you? George Coker. Danny Marie, how are you? Gina, how are you, dear? What's up, Steve-O? What's up, Tommy? Thomas Stessel? Stessel. I can't say S's very good still. I'm still having a hard time with them. Troy, how are you, buddy? Does anyone, when you see George Coker's name, think of two different things? One, the soda, and the other, the other? I don't know why I do, but I do. Stay still. God damn it. Stay still, Thomas. I grew up in a house built in the 1700s, sandstone foundation, dirt floor, built on Indian land. My dad grew up here. He found a well, over 1,000 flint arrowheads. No shit. That's pretty cool. What's up, Joel? Joel from the UK. I even shaved my mustache off this weekend. I got rid of the old perv stash. Thank you, Corinna. I had to get rid of the perv stash. They wouldn't let me in the grocery store anymore. All the moms were running away, running with their kids. They're like, he's a fucking freak. Look at him. I'm like, no, I'm not. I did it for my YouTube channel. I swear to God. People were looking at me like I was some sort of weird fucking perv porn star. I got Steve-O. I don't know if you heard, but I got the all of the Coca-Cola silver commemorative that they made just recently, which is really cool because they did a 0.5 gram of gold, a 5 gram or 5 ounce of silver, 1 ounce of silver, bar, 10 ounce, and a 1 ounce coin. Really cool. -3 this morning. What is it here? It's 22 here, but we got snow. What's up, Stefan or Steven? How are you? No, I was definitely not wearing a trench coat. I probably would have gotten tackled by like store security. I would have liked that though. I would have been like, oh yeah, baby. Analog Oracle, what's up? How are you? R. Kakalina, how are you, dear? R. Cool. New channel, what's up? I am not a nerd. Maybe. I don't know. We had some snow as well. It snows out there in the UK? I'm just kidding. Thank you, Jason John, the man of 2 first names. I'm just kidding. Snowed here in Dallas. Ooh, you know it's cold shit when there is snow in Texas. When there's snow in Texas, ain't nothing good. Talking about nightmares. Arkansas. Man in the Mirror. I like Michael Jackson too. I know the story very well. No snow here. Yeah, that is weird. No snow there. What's up, 2014 or 214? How are you? Tennis does matter. It does matter. And don't let anyone ever tell you it doesn't. Because it fucking does. I'm just going to call you New Channel. And you can't hate me for it. Because that's too hard and complex for me. What's up, Rudy B? All right, here we go, kids. This is not my experience, but rather my cousin's. My cousin doesn't drink or do drugs, and until this experience was not interested in Bigfoot stuff, nor did he believe in it. In late winter of 2017, he had received a telescope from relatives as a birthday gift. He lives by himself on a 1,200-acre farm in north central PA in Northumberland County. There are 4 more people who live on the property, but the houses they are in are more than 100 yards away from his place. It gets very dark at night. The only lighting is from floodlights on the property when there is no moon. He was waiting for a moonless night to use his telescope. He set up pretty late, all by himself, on a folding camp chair with his telescope. After about an hour of looking at the night sky, he thought he heard a small child talking. He became unnerved as it was coming from the direction of the nearby woods. It was very dark and he could not see a thing. His only source of illumination was his phone. This went on for a short period of time as he tried to make sense of it. His 2 daughters only visit on the weekends. There are no other kids on this farm. He started to get scared, packed up the telescope, and headed toward his place at a brisk walk. He phoned me the next day to tell me what happened. I asked him what the voice was saying, and he said he didn't know, but could hear it very clearly and estimated it to be about 20 feet away. He said he couldn't understand what was being said. When I pressed him, he said something like, you know, when somebody mocks a language they can't speak? Within a year of this, his youngest daughter discovered several huge human-like footprints in the nearby woods as they were out on a hike. He has a completely different perspective on this phenomenon now. IE Native, how are you? Definitely sounds like a trap. Trap. Aramic, this one goes out to you and your hard work in proving that flying cryptids exist. Jacob Hilliard, I know you've heard me say it. If I don't respond, that means I didn't get it. I didn't get it. If I respond, I got it. Please send the email again. It's not just me saying, like, I'm not ignoring you. I honestly, for some reason, Gmail doesn't put all of my emails through for some reason. I don't know if it's because I get mass amounts of emails throughout the day or what. I do check my spam account every time I check my emails. So, but I never got one from you yet. I'm sorry. Please. I know. Just try again or message me on Facebook Messenger. I've been checking that lately as well. But don't send it on the channel one. Send it on my personal one. All right, Aramic, we all know you cannot say you do not believe in the bug guy because I've seen you actually rocking a Mothman shirt with little things on the top of your head one day. I saw that. I did see that. I was peeking through your window. This is for you, Aramic. My husband works shifts. My husband works shifts. What shifts? Just kidding. My husband works shifts. One morning at around 5 a.m. in 2000, he had just left our bungalow to walk to the bus stop to catch the first two buses to work. Being summer, it was very bright for the time of morning, and he had told me he was just collecting his thoughts, thinking about the tasks he had to do on this day, and the list of groceries that I had asked him to get from above, and a little way away off. He had heard some rustling in the leaves from a tree behind a wall of the garden. Thinking it was a squirrel, he looked up, and he told me he thought he was seeing things. What he said he saw was a small, black-bodied, sleek figure walking or running on four skinny legs, resembling a monkey, with a long rat-like tail. It looked like the head was round with pointed ears on either side. My husband couldn't see the creature's facial features as it moved with extreme speed. When it hit the ground, it scurried away from him, but he said he swore he saw what he thought was wings in the brief time he saw the creature airborne, which appeared to be pinned back to the side of the creature's body. My husband is a practical, no-nonsense man who is somewhat skeptical about the supernatural and paranormal. He was slightly reluctant to tell me in case I would think he was having me on. We discussed the incident that night when he got home. He had already texted me about it, and I was intrigued. I did ask my husband if it could have been a large bat. On our talking about it and thinking it through properly, we concluded it could not have been a bat, as this creature that my husband saw had four legs and a rat-like tail. We walked that route all of the time to get out of the estate and to the shops before and since that incident. We have never seen this creature. We are both native to London, and we are unaware of such a creature ever existing. So we're still trying to work out what this creature could have been. Email, please. Yep, hang on, Jacob. Dink. Right above Zilla 92. How are you? Right below Zilla and right above Danny Sanders. What's up, Nicola? How are you, buddy? Good seeing you. Crypto Work Pro, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Brandy Boone, how are you? Rick, yes, I do. I actually have an aquatic one tonight. I get a couple of aquatic ones. I try to do a bunch, like a variety, I guess. What do I think about shark attacks? I think they're sharks. I don't like sharks. I remember when I was learning how to surf in New Smyrna Beach in Florida, I was on my board, swimming out, sitting on my board now. And the guy that was teaching me how to surf goes, we are in the shark attack capital of Florida's East Coast. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? And I literally swam back. I never went back into the water again. I was like, fuck you, buddy. You're supposed to be my friend. Gina, there's been fox. I actually shared a couple of different experiences about a person that had seen a fox like Dogman. In Virginia, but Richard Kraft, how are you? Dude, it was crazy. I will never forget. I'm sitting there. My feet are on both sides of the board. I'm just sitting there like hanging out. I'm happy because I was married at the time and my ex-wife was home, so I didn't have to listen to her trap. And I'm just hanging out with my buddy. And then he breaks that to me and there had been like 6 shark attacks that month in New Smyrna. And I was like, bye, buddy. To be honest, it's all good, Gina. I appreciate it, but I don't watch other channels' videos because for the simple reason is I like to do my own research and I don't like to listen to other channels' research. You know what I mean? Nothing against their research or anything like that. When I watch YouTube, I don't watch anything cryptid related at all. I watch What's Up, Love the Love? I watch like random shit. It's just so I don't get, I don't know. I've always been like that. And it's nothing against their channels. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, come surf Superior, Lake Superior. I know they have like some of the Great Lakes have their own, let me check and see if I got it, Hilliard. Hang on one second. While we're on the thing right now. I did get it, Jacob Hilliard. I did get it. Thank you, my friend. Whitmore, how are you, buddy? Buddy is, let me see if I can get him. I'll leave the door open. So he can hear me. I'm definitely not watching Vic Cundiff's channel. Sorry, Truth Quest. What's up, Pine Knot? Mr. Rollins, he is a dog. Dude, the other night, I'm petting him like this. I'm like, hey, buddy. And he gives me the stink eye and fucking baps me in my hand. And I take my hand back, and half of his like nail was embedded into my hand. And I'm looking at it like that. And he's like looking at me. And I'm like, ow. I take it out. I throw it on the ground and I pet him again. Bap, hits me. I'm like, dude. I'm like, you're my best friend. I'm like, why are you hitting me? So he did it again. So I pinched him. Fucking asshole. And then he hit me again. Tigger is a handsome devil. He's got an attitude, though. He's got a fucking attitude. I don't know if it's because he's just like, he really thinks he's the boss of me. Like, he really does think he's the boss of me. No, it was his whole body. He just didn't want me to touch him. He does that periodically. He's probably becoming feral. He's an asshole. I'm doing well, Bobby Schultz. What's up, SDL? How are you? Yeah, he's male. He's still got his balls. Those suckers are like that big around on each side. They sway. They have their own fucking postal code. They're so big. He's like, holy shit. No, the cop is not there tonight. The cop is not there tonight. The one night in 2 years, the cop is not there. There's a cop right there. You see that fucker roll by? He's like, dude, you see him roll by? That fucker. He's like, I'm going to get him now. We'll stop his live stream. This one goes out to the person that asked about the aquatic creature. Sorry, I don't remember your name. I read so quickly. I don't remember. What? Cop stakeout here for real. Yeah, they've been outside of my channel every Saturday night for the last 2 years since I started my live stream. Shackleneck, who is in here tonight, came to my house one night. Well, two times each last year and this year, and literally saw the cop himself on a Saturday. There's no cop that lives here around here. They just park there and they leave the car outside of my house every fucking Saturday. It's weird. This is something that has been bothering me. This is something that has been bothering me for years. I'm a 22-year-old American woman. And when I was 13, my dad, my younger brother, and I went to Thailand. We traveled to Phi Islands by boat with one of those travel companies for tourists and stopped by different islands to snorkel. On one of these stops, my brother and I were right next to each other looking at fish that I found really cute. To paint a better picture, at this moment, my brother and I were snorkeling in the water right by a floating island, while the others in our group were a bit further away of the island. This island was like a chunk of land that extended downward into the water rather than having a gradual slope. Suddenly, our dad called for us. Someone in the group saw a small shark, and everyone gathered around to see it. My brother swam over there, but for some reason I stayed put and kept watching the different fish that were swimming so closely to me. Then something caught my attention. There were smaller caves underwater by the shore, and I saw something slowly coming out of one. It was similar to a human head facing downwards towards the bottom of the ocean. I completely froze up and kept staring. The person kind of floated out of the cave, never faced up toward the surface, and it did it very slowly. Nothing of this person that I could see was moving. By this point, I could see the back of its head and most of its back. The person had sparse black hair slicked down to its scalp. The skin looked gray, and the spine was extremely pronounced. I was so sure that I was looking at a corpse that I completely froze up. I couldn't breathe or move. Time felt like it was standing still. The person kept floating out of this cave, and that's when I started to see a tail. The tail was dark gray and looked like the stereotypical mermaid tail. I blinked multiple times, convinced I was hallucinating, but I kept seeing it. I never believed in the supernatural, but this was only a few meters below me, and I could see it so clearly. I felt a sense of danger. I knew that I was not supposed to be seeing this, and I was terrified that it would see me and attack me. But the thing never once faced up. Once it was out, it swayed to the side, kept a close distance to the island, and disappeared into another cave. After a few seconds, I snapped out of it and quickly swam to my dad and brother. I burst into tears, frantically telling them that we had to get back to the boat right away. My dad asked me what happened, and I told him what I saw. Obviously, he didn't believe me and got furious at me for lying. When we got back to the boat, I told them again and stood by the fact that I was not lying. My dad told me that he really hoped I was, that it was either a lie or that I was insane and had to be locked up into a mental hospital. I knew how crazy all of it sounded, and honestly, I didn't really want to believe myself. I decided to tell him that I made it up. Since that day, I've tried to convince myself that I had made it up, but I've never experienced any hallucinations that I know of, and I do know what I saw. I've told others, but of course, most of them thought I had made it up. It's so insanely frustrating feeling like you're being gaslighted by the entire world, and I truly hope that someone out here believes me. I believe you. Megalodons freak me out too. Megalodons are terrifying. And I do believe that the megalodon exists 100%. Happy birthday, Sonia. What happened to Sasquatch's grandma? What did I miss? What did I miss? Everyone's praying for Sasquatch and grandma. God damn it. What did I miss? Someone tell me, I can't find it. Oh yeah, absolutely, Wild Man's mom. The Mariana Trench holds some deep, deep secrets. um every video I have ever shared is what I have. The best video I have is Kirk Stokes. And Joe Rogan said this purposely or perfectly the other day when he was talking to Theo Vaughn. He said they were talking about drones and how people that are in the UFO community, those people that always say, everybody has a cell phone nowadays. Why is every photo so grainy and looks like it was taken by a potato? Well, one, because the phone photo technology isn't that great, as great as we think it is. It's not the best. And two, that there is some sort of magnetic or whatever kind of interference going on. Like, if these creatures are truly dimensional, they are going to be able to mess with any kind of energy waves out there. And I really do believe many of them are dimensional, and I think that's why a lot of the things that we get are grainy, unfortunately. Like when I was running down the mountain and that thing was behind me, I turned with my camera and I saw what I saw. You guys heard the noise. But I mean, my camera, I scrolled through that footage and couldn't find anything. Like, but I saw it running up the hill. The only thing that I've ever caught on camera good would be that thing that ran down the mountain in front of me. But Kirk Stokes' video is by far the greatest video I've ever seen. What's up, Bateman? How are you, buddy? Absolutely, SDL. I started the live stream off with a prayer for everyone from California because it's just so terrible. And I pray for you, Sasquatch and Grandma. I hope the goddamn tree doesn't fall on your house. Maybe on your neighbor's house. No, I'm just kidding. Culver City. Damn, Nicola. That's scary. I have a video of a guy that is from the Catskills. And he saw this, like he was there. He filmed it. And something dropped out of the tree in front of him and just ran across the screen. He was filming it because you could see it in the tree. And for some reason, he said that he was watching this. You can see something fucking shoot across the screen. But for some reason, it just shot and it was gone. Or Blue, the guy from Facebook, he was doing the Facebook Live. He's friends with James Starkwaters and me. And he's from Florida. And he caught that Dogman running through. He's on Facebook Live camera, and it was blurry then too. So I really think that there is some sort of pulse or energy waves that are coming off of these creatures. I missed you, Claire Harris. I didn't even know you left, but I missed you. I will, Jody. I will, buddy. I'm hoping Tiggy comes in here soon. Time is it? Oh, we got 8 minutes. 8 minutes till. All right, we got 8 minutes here. Let me get a quick one. 8 minutes till a lot lizard experience. What's up, Tommy? How are you, dear? Lizzie Sisney, you're always in my prayers. You know that. All right. I have an experience to tell about what I experienced with Men in Black. I live in Stockholm, Sweden, and in Stockholm, it's in the middle of nowhere. This was summer of 2013. My mom and I went for a walk with our dog, and just like that, behind some bushes, I saw a black shiny car. The model of it was like an expensive car from the early 60s. 3 men were surrounding that car. One of them was sitting inside. All 3 were dressed in black hats, black gloves, black glasses, and pale, just dressed in black. They just stood there. It was weird as hell. I thought they were going to go to some masquerade ball or something, but nah, I had a strange feeling. Anyhow, I stood there for a couple of seconds looking at them, and my mom stood there for a short time, but then walked away because she got scared. She told me that I should get away from that area, but curiosity made me stay for a little bit. Suddenly, my dog started to bark violently. Those 3 men, including the man in the car, looked at us at the same time in the same move, and they got scared and all got in the car as fast as possible. I ran away a bit because I was scared and my mom was waiting for me. Then, when I came back, the car was gone. It had vanished. I should have seen if they went away with the car because there was only one way out from that parking lot. Freaking weird. And no, I am not on drugs or anything because where I come from, we don't do stuff like that. My mom witnessed it as well, so I'm not alone. Do you think it could have been them, the Men in Black? I have witnessed 2 UFO before. I saw them, by the way, and I have seen 4 UFO or UAP since then. Aramaic! Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Oh. What's up, James Moses? How are you, buddy? Lee H., how are you? Nino, you sexy motherfucker. How are you, my friend? Yeah, they were definitely Men in Black. Definitely Men in Black. Hey, Tammy Chambers, how are you? Because they had no discernible features. They were pale and all black. Aramaic, thank you. You know I appreciate that, love. All right. So, I'm rather proud of these lot lizard experiences. Now, I'm going to let you guys pick, okay? I have Mr. Rattlesnake, thank you. I have, excuse me, I got the hiccups now. What's up, Justice? I have Lizzo, the ever popular lot lizard, or I have Lester, the lot lizard. You guys pick Lester or Lizzo. Two for Lester. Wesley September, what's up? Lizzo, Lester, Lizzo, one less. Lester. Nino wants me to write one about do something. All right, we got about 4 for Lizzo. Lester, the gay lot lizard, takes it tonight. Don't worry, we'll hear Lizzo's. Here we go, kids. Here we go. Okay, buckle up because this is going to be a very specific and, let's be honest, unusual ride. I'm going to try and handle the horror and humor aspects as delicately as possible, given the premise. It's important to note that the humor is going to be dark, cringy variety, and we're not endorsing harmful behavior here. Here we go. The flickering neon sign of the Dusty Spur truck stop buzzed like an angry hornet, casting an unsettling glow over the cracked asphalt. It was a lonely place, even at 2 a.m. That's when Lester usually came out to play. Lester wasn't your typical lot lizard. For one, he wasn't a lizard at all. He was a man, a wiry, glittery, dusted man with a penchant for sequence tank tops and an unsettling, enthusiastic grin. And he wasn't interested in the usual company the more conventional lot lizards provided. Lester had a peculiar fondness for tractor-trailer drivers. He'd been doing this for years, a bizarre, unwanted mascot at the Dusty Spur. He was known for his unorthodox methods of approach. He wouldn't just knock on doors. He'd scale the tires, peering into the cabs with a maniacal giggle. And his pickup lines, they were a symphony of awkward innuendos and bewildering compliments. Hey, big fella, he'd purr, his voice surprisingly high-pitched warble. That rig of yours is looking mighty robust, just like you, I bet. Tonight's target was a burly man named Earl, a seasoned trucker with a handlebar mustache that could rival a walrus's. Earl had just finished his chili and was settling in for a nap when he heard a tapping on his driver's side window. He sighed, bracing himself. There he was, Lester, in all his shimmering glory. He was wearing a tank top that appeared to be made of a melted disco ball, and his face was streaked with what might have been glitter or possibly the residue of some unfortunate chewing gum. Howdy, Earl, Lester squealed, his eyes unnervingly bright. Mind if I hitch a ride on your heart? He giggled again, a sound that made Earl's teeth itch. Look, Lester, Earl grumbled, not even bothering to unlock the door. I'm trying to sleep. Lester's smile widened, revealing a gap between his two front teeth. Sleep is for the weak, Earl. Besides, he leaned closer, pressing his face against the glass. I've got a special service for lonely truckers. It's called the Midnight Muffin Top Massage. Earl recoiled, his hand inching towards the CB radio. You get away from my truck, Lester. I swear to God, if you try any of that muffin top nonsense. Lester, undetermined, began to shimmy up the side of the cab using the steps. He was remarkably agile despite his questionable attire. Earl watched in horror as Lester's head popped into view through the open driver's side window, an unholy grin plastered on his face. Ready for some personalized attention, big boy? Lester cooed, reaching for Earl's arm. Earl, feeling a primal panic rise within him, grabbed the nearest thing he could find, a half-eaten bag of cheese puffs, and shoveled it into Lester's face. Cheese puff dust filled the cab, and Lester recoiled with a dramatic gasp. Oh, the humanity, he cried, batting at the orange residue. The dramatic flare was almost impressive under the circumstance. Earl, seeing his chance, quickly slammed the window shut, locking it. He then rolled up the passenger side window and locked that one too. And just for good measure, he could hear Lester pounding on the glass, yelling muffled cries, unwanted dairy products, and the injustice of it all. He grabbed the CB. Breaker, breaker, anyone out there? He asked, his voice tight with barely suppressed hysteria. This is Earl at the Dusty Spur. Code red, repeat, code red. I need backup. And maybe a hazmat team. The laughter that crackled over the radio was a mixed chorus of concern and morbid amusement. Lester was, shall we say, well known. Eventually, Lester, covered in cheese puff crumbs and defeat, slid down the truck, muttering about the lack of appreciation for the fine artistry. He shuffled into the darkness, his sequenced tank top reflecting an eerie glow of the truck stop sign like a fallen glittery star. Earl, shaking his head, locked his doors again and turned up the radio, hoping to drown out the memory of what he had just experienced. He knew Lester would be back. This was just another bizarre night at the Dusty Spur. He also knew that from now on, he'd be packing some extra cheesy puffs, not for eating, but for self-defense. The things you see on the road, huh? The old muffin top. What's up, Christopher? How are you, buddy? Dude, Netflix definitely wants some of my Lot Lizard. They would be like a half hour shows. The Midnight Muffin Top Massage, baby. What's up, Steph the Contractor? I'm doing well. Thank you, Christopher. Good night, Randy Mon. Derek Davis. Good shirt. Good shirt. That would be a good shirt. Have like just the top of a muffin with like a little picture of Lizzo at the bottom. Sad the original Bag Laddie. If you go back, you can listen to it during the replay. What's up, Lisa Marie? How are you? Sonic Fox. They would be pretty good half hour, like little half hour one shots on Netflix. each one would have its own, have this like weird kind of creepy music. Ooh, I can just picture it. Like a truck stop with tractor trailers pulling in the dark. And then like out of behind the garbage can, a lot lizard peeking out. Well, the credits roll. That'd be good shit, man. Good shit. I think I will. I don't know. Does Hawaii? Well, Hawaii's got to have tractor trailers on it, I'd imagine. So maybe. I think it would sell. What's up, Tracy? How are you? Lizzo walking across the truck stop in her sequence too tight fucking shirt and shorts. Yum, yum, gotta get me some. Arabic. Oh, you dirty dog. What's going on, Jay Cortez? How are you, buddy? Alan Rogers, back at you, buddy. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. And then, like, oh, that's what we could do. So check this out. Each one is a one shot, right? We got the fucking beginning, the intro, trucks rolling in, periodic. Every lot lizard story has its own lot lizard peek out behind. But then each lot, the narrator of it would be the waitress from the truck stop, and she'd have a cigarette, and she'd be that waitress. You want some more coffee, sugar? She'd sound like that. Fuck yeah! Oh man, now we're going somewhere. What's up, Daryl? Welcome to the live stream, my friend. I'm glad that you're here with us. Shit, that would be fucking great. All right, we got to do it. Can you just imagine? That'd be so weird. No Morgan Freeman. We need a woman, that ever popular waitress that has that too many packs of cigarettes smoked throughout her days. You want some coffee with that sugar, hun? And then she'd tell us the story. Yes, Aramek. Yes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And at the end of the whole series, we'd have the lot lizard killer. Because she's telling the story, but each time, each lot lizard gets a little closer to her. Just a little bit. Yes. What's up, Mr. Blankety 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 blank blankety 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 blanky sign? Oh, no, Paul Mall, non-filters the whole time. Paul Mall, non-filters, since she was 5. What's up, Bryce? Paul Malls, baby, non-filter. She's got fucking grease on her face. On this side, something else running down, which we don't know what is, because she just came out of the bathroom with Earl. Hairnet's just a little ripped. Shit, yeah. She may have a mustache. I would say like a couple of long hairs down here. Yes, like Flo, but more manly. Like she's got a hog down there. She's got like the monkey clit. Did I just fucking say that out loud? I am so sorry. What the fuck? All right, here we go. The monkey clit. She's got the fucking hog. She did too much testosterone during her day. Oh shit. In the 1980s, my cousin was on a camping trip, and thank you, Aramik. Dude, look at my face, how red that shit is. Oh my god. Even DB Mac just said what the fuck, so you know it's fucked up. Oh shit. Thank you, Aramik. I love you, brother. You are the king of gifting. The king of gifting memberships. Oh, all right. In the 80s, my cousin was on a camping trip in eastern Montana with his wife. It wasn't a busy day for camping, and according to my cousin, the ranger told them that they were the only ones camping there for the night. Anyway, it was getting late. My cousin said he had spotted something across the lake. He thought it was a bear standing, so he grabbed his binoculars. It was sort of like a bear, but it was standing on its hind legs. He said it wasn't a bear because it had a face like a 70-year-old man, and the fur was longer than that of a bear. He thought maybe it was someone in a suit. It disappeared quickly, whatever it was. He was spooked and wanted to leave for the park immediately. His wife thought he was being ridiculous, though, and just having an overactive imagination. She had brought a shotgun and insisted that they'd be fine if anything happened. Anyway, that night everything was going fine until my cousin was awakened by footsteps. His wife was still asleep, but he doesn't want to wake her up. He just tries to keep as still and as quiet as possible. The figure approaches the tent. My cousin said he was positioned so that his head was on the corner of the tent. This figure leaned down and gently presses its hand around the corner of the tent. So the figure is basically putting his hand around my cousin's head. I don't remember how long he said this lasted, but this figure eventually left. My cousin said it smelled like mechanical things, like someone working on a car, gas, grease, and oil, although he heard no car. The next morning, everything at the campsite was untouched, no problems at all. My cousin didn't mention a thing about finding footprints. There wasn't any evidence that someone had even been there. He eventually went and researched the area and discovered that their camping area was a supposed hot spot for Bigfoot and such. He firmly believes that he saw some kind of Sasquatch. I'm not sure if I believe him. If anything, I always thought it was a person messing with him. I'm just sharing this experience because my cousin asked me if I would. I don't know. I think it was a Bigfoot. Maybe the Bigfoot was playing with grease. Who knows? Maybe it was a lot lizard. Nino, you sexy mother. Have a good night. Thank you for joining us tonight. Be good. And don't let your meatloaf. What's up, Jeff? Yeah, dirty body grease. Maybe he was getting crazy with the Crisco. Who knows? We don't know. Shit. Impersonation for a lot lizard. So lazy. Nino! Don't go! Don't go, Nino! I saw a black-eyed man twice in two different places, both dressed unconventionally. One of them gave me a dreamy, mesmerized feeling when he passed, and I knew that this was not a human. My first encounter was about 15 years ago on a path that went around the lake and had no houses for miles. He was jogging toward me. He wore an out of date looking pair of red satin shorts with no trimmings or pockets on a red shirt. He was buff looking, tan, and had short black hair. When he passed me, I saw his black eyes. He said, "Hi," and ran past. He was going in the direction of where there was nothing but fields and groves of trees. He had nothing on him to see by and no belongings. The second was even weirder. He appeared walking in a forest path of a park I go to. He also had black hair, but longer and wavy. His skin was pale, and he was tall and graceful. I never heard footfalls. He wore black pants, a white shirt with rolled sleeves, and a blue vest. Who wears that style nowadays? Nobody I see in public. He also had black eyes that glittered as he looked at me by passing by. I didn't feel fear, just a trance like until he passed me. I knew he wasn't human. A few seconds later, I turned to see he had completely disappeared. I believe those woods are a portal for things. This was at the David Douglas Park in Vancouver, Washington. Jeff, it's right here, buddy. It's interesting because it's right there. I did respond to you. I said I'm printing this out. I know, Aramic. I think that was such a that was maybe like a porn star, black-eyed man. Bow, chicka, bow, bow. Supernatural black holes. Oh boy. What's up, Steph Davis? How are you? You knew that's exactly what I was doing. Feral people are amazing. I love feral people. Thank you, 59th. Appreciate that. I love LL Bean. Were there more than just one, Jody? I hope there was more than one. How many of you guys wonder about that? Like, we see like these photos that people put out of a track, and it's only one print. You're just like, where's the other prints? Like, that's a really cool looking print, but why is there no others with it? Is it only hopping on one foot? Is it playing hopscotch? I heard an amazing experience though. That guy, there's a guy up in Michigan. I think his name is Lee, if I remember correctly. He's older. And because Isabel's homeschooled, I can't do anything until she's done with school, which will be next year. I told him that I would come up, but he had actually seen in his field, and he had taken a picture of it. I shared it a long time ago. He had caught a portal opening in his backyard, in his field, and then at the other end of his field, another portal opened, and he saw one of these creatures just like walking into it, and you could see where the fucking footprints disappeared. It was weird. But I think every once in a while, Dogman and Bigfoot will play hopscotch just to fuck with us. You know, they're just like, and then you see that little hole where they threw the rock. Yeah, that would be good, but there's only like one print. You know what I mean? Like one. So it's standing in one spot on one foot. Awesome, Jason John. I appreciate that. They're all crazy. They're all crazy. See, like, and I've said this before, Jason, like when people say, oh, my experiences aren't crazy, they all are because we're dealing with something that isn't supposed to exist. So, like, it could just be like a sighting of one that is still super special because this is something we're not supposed to see. This isn't like seeing John at the grocery store. This is seeing like a fucking monster in real life. Rockin' steady. Steady rockin'. If the trailer's rockin', don't come a knockin', baby. That's fucked up, SDL. You know it, buddy. I'll put a leg behind my head. Don't kill Bigfoot. I mean, I wouldn't go hunting one, but if one's coming at me, I'm gonna. I wouldn't go hunting for any of them, but like if I'm hiking and one of those things comes at me, I'm gonna fucking take it down. They're not my friend. No siree, Bob. All right. I don't know what we saw. What I'm about to share you happened, and I'm still freaked out about it 30 years later. Every Friday, a group of us friends would get together and play board games at my friend's house. I'm changing her name, Faye. Lived with her parents and her older brother, who was never home. 9 of us were present playing Pictionary. We were having fun when Faye's dad came storming in. He was typically the cool guy I knew, kind and soft-spoken with a heart like no one else. The last 2 months he had been changing, though. His whole demeanor towards us, his friends, his kids, his work, all had become a source of anger for him. I hadn't heard the whole story yet, so I was simply trying to avoid him as much as I could and still have fun at the house. Faye's dad was super upset about the noise we were making and told us to quiet down. His wife was playing the game with us, and when she spoke back to him about his unreasonable approach, he slapped her right in front of us all. She fell on the floor, and we were all dumbstruck. Faye's dad was not a hitter. I'd been at their house often, mostly to hang out with Faye, and I had never witnessed any domestic abuse or seen a single bruise on anyone getting slapped or hit. Faye's dad turned to Faye's best girlfriend, and when he spun to her face, we all saw it. It was deep blue. Wait. Faye's dad turned to Faye's best girlfriend, and when he spun to face her, we all saw it. It was deep blue, like water at night. It was rounded like a tick body, and I'd estimate 12 inches across, a foot high, and attached to his back like a leech. I can't describe its body more than that. It was attached to the back of his spine, over his shirt, and directly between his shoulder blades. Faye reached out her hand. She was standing by him now and asked her dad what was on his back. Despite all the noise happening with his tirade, he stopped. He stood up, looked at her, and she walked toward him. In retelling that story, she said she was trying to touch it. This thing, whatever it was, detached from his back, and I swear it just floated there for a minute. Faye's dad was dumbfounded. He stood there like in a coma. Faye put her hand out towards it again, and her mom grabbed her. We all stared at it for a second, watching this watery, tick-like body float in the middle of the living room. It was only a few seconds, to be clear. We've all talked about what happened next, and it is still the scariest thing that I've ever experienced, but I'll try and describe it the best I can. The deep blue spot didn't make a sound. It seemed to rob the room of sound, meaning it got quiet, but quiet with white noise, if that makes sense. It got smaller and further away at the same time without moving from where it was. Does that make sense? It just vanished. There was no popping sound or anything when it left, but the air felt less heavy and Faye's dad collapsed. 2 days later, Faye's dad got a blood clot in his brain and died. Faye to this day thinks it was some sort of supernatural force. Faye had a severe medical problem that had self-corrected some years back. When they cleaned out her dad's stuff, they found a bunch of crazy stuff dealing with the occult. She wouldn't go much into detail about it, and they threw it all away. Burnt all they found. She thinks her dad traded his soul for her health. I don't know what happened, and after seeing that, I am open to many interpretations of what it could have been. I really hope that it wasn't what Faye seems to think it was. Her dad was such a cool guy to go like he did so suddenly. So maybe he did. I don't know. I've never heard anyone other than our circle seeing anything like this before. And part of me really hopes that it was our imagination playing up on the event, like people seeing a weather balloon and convinced that it's an alien ship. It was there, and then it was gone, and my friend's dad died 2 days later, and she got better. While I was typing this out on my phone, Faye's mom hit me up on Messenger. Coincidentally, I haven't spoken to her in 10 years. So, he's into the occult. He may have sold his soul because his daughter's sick. Yeah, I would say some sort of trans-dimensional demon. He sold his soul. She got better, and it took him. Definitely. That's fucking creepy. What's up, Intoxicash? Yeah, just a weird. That's fucking ugh. Like stuck between it. I'm trying to think, like, what's that? There's like a movie, or not, maybe it was a movie, where there was like some sort of like attachment to this guy's like spinal cord. Maybe it was a demon. Maybe. I think it was a demon. Myself, I think it was a demon. But an awesome experience. Not an awesome experience, a terrifying experience, but a goddamn cool read. My fiance, when she was young, maybe 13, was playing around in an abandoned home near her house outside of La Crosse, Wisconsin. This house had lots of property with woods behind it, and the house was boarded up. No one lived there, and these woods were very common to her and her friends to play in. One day she was running around those woods looking for her friend, and she saw a being. It looks like a man in shape, frail, skinny, 6 feet tall, maybe a little shorter. But the thing that was strange about this creature is that it had no eyes or mouth, or no distinguishing features whatsoever. No clothes, no shoes, but the exact shape of a man. It literally looked like it was wearing gray spandex or an entire suit of gray. She came across it from the distance. It was probably 20 to 30 feet away, and she stopped, startled at first, but then started to yell at it, saying, I see you, I see you. She was calling it her friend's name because, for some reason, at that distance, she just assumed it was her friend playing a prank. The creature continued to walk toward her slowly and strangely, without having any expression. As it got closer, from 20 feet to 15 feet, she realized now that this thing was taller than her friend, and her friend couldn't have possibly had time to put this kind of suit on. It was just around that time she heard her friend in front of the house yelling her name, looking for her, and at that time she screamed. As she screamed and started to turn around, this thing immediately panicked and stopped going toward her, turned around and ran off. The incident scared the hell out of her and me, telling when she told it to me, thinking about what it was or what it would have done to her if it had gotten that close. And did it only run away because it knew the friend was nearby and was another witness? I have to make it clear that nobody lived in those woods, and this wasn't really something somebody could have worn just willy-nilly in the area. It sounded very much like a creature, in my opinion. To this day, she still believes it was some sort of type of alien that happened to know she was alone. This is a creepy one. I've reached the point where I can't keep this to myself, and I need some place to share this. I was part of a trio of best friends. We would hang out socially and regularly. One of our favorite things to do was girls' night out at a local club. We always started at one of our least favorite clubs, but it had one of those inexpensive fishbowl drinks, so we typically began our evening there. This is where it happened. We had arrived and were about 35 minutes into a conversation and the drink, and we decided to hit the dance floor. A group of three guys were seated near the dance floor and joined us once we started dancing. I was paired up with the youngest looking one. He looked about 5 or so years younger than myself, but we were having a great time dancing together. We danced and merged back together with the entire group, forming a circle. Directly across from the dance partner and myself was my friend. She was laughing and smiling, dancing, enjoying herself. And then, boom, it was like a hologram of a shifting picture, like tuning an image. She suddenly stood well over our heads, and the guy I was dancing with looked to be about 6 foot or so, and she had a clear head and shoulder above him. So, this is the part that I have the hardest time saying without ridiculing myself for not having the answer. Please, I have such a hard time saying it even to myself. But she was almost reptilian, like standing scale covered, muscular, human like creature with a dinosaur slash human shaped head. My dance partner and I both froze. I felt stuck, just staring and willing myself to stop staring. I turned to look at him, and the color had drained from his face. I felt so bad for the fear on his face. Without a word to each other, we both stepped backward, turned, and fled outside. He kept walking, completely left the club. He didn't say a word. He just walked off, left his friends there, and was gone. I went back inside because I thought it had been the lighting or shadows, something practical. After all, I knew this person. She was my best friend at the time. So I am clearly the one who is crazy, and I needed to understand what just happened. I sat at the table near the dance floor and watched the whole room, the lighting, effects, shadows, my friends dancing, and I just told myself it had to be an optical illusion. A terrifying one, but could have been real. I know this person. I am not prone to fantasy, so I must have been the one to have had my vision scrambled enough for my brain to fill in the wrong information. It unsettled me, so I decided not to continue the evening out. I said goodbye to the other friend who was with us and went home. As soon as I got home, I searched the internet for anyone who had experienced anything remotely similar and didn't find a thing. At that point, I did try and have continued to try to convince myself that it was the room, the lights, the strobe effect that turned my best friend into a 7 foot tall reptilian person. I avoided her for a month after that. The next time I saw her, though, I thought she would find it pretty amusing that I ghosted everyone because she shapeshifted. She didn't find it amusing and seemed worried about it, asking me what she looked like. Fair enough. I thought if my lunatic friend said the same thing to me, I'd have questions. I turned it into a joke and tried to move the conversation away from it, but sometimes I get reminded and I see it again in my mind, and I am still as frightened and confused about it as it happened just then. We all grew apart after that, but there, I've said it now. Maybe just getting it out of my head will help the memory go away. It was Lizzo. Definitely Lizzo. Ruben, you heard it. What's up, RH? Yeah, definitely goodbye, best friend. Maybe. Maybe it does. I'm not sure. I would fucking karate chop it right in the throat. You'd have to jump up though, because it's 7 foot tall. Hang on, I gotta check on something really quick. Hang on 1 second. Something weird just happened. I heard something weird. Dude, I swear to God, I just heard someone like walk by here, like outside through my living room, but my daughter's sleeping. No, not yet, Wiley. Not yet. Hopefully, very soon. Already did it once in the Hebrew horn. Well, it happens all the time here, Jody, but just usually not in my live stream. It's weird. What's up, Grayson? How are you? I have a black-eyed kids experience that is not normal, if these things ever can be normal. I held on to it and hardly told anyone, partly because it's so goddamn weird. And part of why I don't tell anyone is because it sounds silly. The year was 2005. I was in my mid 20s. My mom and I took a girls' trip to Ontario to all do the usual touristy things. We had completed a fun night at one of the entertainment districts, and we were thoroughly tired. So we were heading back to the parking garage. It was the middle of the night, not very busy, and we had taken our time to sit at a bench and soak up the atmosphere as people left. There were no other people in sight. There were several moving walkways to get to the parking garage, kind of like airports have. Right as we approached the walkway, damn it, hang on. Right as we approached the walkway, a couple of children came walking speedily through the tandem right behind us. I mean, right up behind us. Not quite touching, but very close. It was instantly confusing because it was too late for kids to be out alone. The earliest it could have been was 11 p.m., but I'm putting it more at 1 a.m. At first, I thought they might need help, which is why they were heading right towards us. My mom is a school teacher and seems to attract kids like a lighthouse. So why wouldn't they head for her? I'm used to being in public and having our plans be derailed by random distressed kids running to her like heat-seeking missiles. But then these two kids didn't say a thing. They seemed happy and laughing with each other. Did I mention they were fast and very, very close? They were too close to get a really good look at, and I could only see the tops of their heads. We got on the walkway and they got behind us. Again, right behind us. We scooted to one side to let them by, and they seemed happy, but it was super uncomfortable. Have you ever gotten an icy cold sick feeling when you can tell the tone of someone's voice that you get really bad news? That feeling where your knees are weak and your body demands you to sit down and your stomach to feel like lead? Well, that was the feeling I had. Being a school teacher and not afraid to tell kids what to do, my mom kind of snapped her fingers at the child, face level, and motioned for them to go. But it was like they didn't even see her. She even leaned down a little over to their heads to give her the teacher, go on. She looked at me and shook her head, baffled. They kept right on looking and laughing. We kept inching away, and they didn't really seem to inch, but they would still be right there. Now, for some reason, I just couldn't actively turn my back and walk away from these two, and my mom seemed to be in the same boat. My mom stood sideways with her back to the railing. I managed to stagger me and my mom so that I was far enough away to look at them better. Sorry, Mom, I literally used you as a human shield. They looked like carbon copies of each other, with one just being a little older. I'd guess maybe 6 to 8. Very average looking, lean but healthy, nondescript, very clean clothes, matching sneakers, khaki-like pants, plain t-shirts of the same color. Their mouths were stained blue from candy or a blue drink. Or did they get into some Jell-O shots? Short blonde hair and black eyes. Solid black eyes, no whites. Their eyes looked extra wet and shiny, like pools of oil. They kept looking at each other and laughing. They would kind of move their heads like they were talking and understood each other. My mom and I got off the walkway and I kind of held her arm and guided her off to the side by the planter. I walked backward for a bit. I even pulled out my phone and acted like I was going to make a call. Anything to get away from these super creepy kids. Again, I just couldn't bring myself to keep walking with my back turned toward them. The kids stood off a ways and kept staring at each other and continued to laugh. Then they started moving their hands like people do when they talk, not sign language, more like conventional hand motions. What's up with these kids? They aren't normal. My mom shuddered and rubbed her arms. I don't know, but I wish they'd go away, I quietly said. For hell's sake, this is ridiculous. My mom fumed as she headed to the next walkway. I wanted to stay put until they left, but she was off, and at least on the walkway we could get closer to the car without turning our backs. The kids got behind us again and again, much, much too close. My mom rolled her eyes, but we stood with our backs to the railings facing each other. My mom kept her chin up. She was not going to give these little pranksters whatever satisfaction they wanted. But I kept looking at the little buggers, just face on, and keeping my expression as boring as possible. But they didn't look at us. Something told me that I shouldn't ask them anything. Like if I did that, then they would start looking at us. Then something really weird happened. The smaller one started to dance. Yeah, dance. Very graceful, with like adult moves. He was very coordinated. His mouth was smiling and staying open. His tongue was stained blue, and he had sharp teeth. His eyes glinted black. I felt like throwing up. The tall one relaxed into a lean with one arm on the rail. He smiled a wide smile and a nod to approve. He had a sincere look of admiration on his face for the little one. Damn it. Sorry. Little one's moves. The whole posture looked very adult. Then he, just as graceful as the smaller one, hoisted himself to balance himself on the railway. He was on my mom's side, and when she scooted over because she couldn't take it, he lifted himself onto his hands and scooted his bum closer to her. Again, neither of them were looking at us. Not once. At the end of that walkway, my mom and I got off, and we seemed to make a silent pact just to make it to the car. We booked it. Just a few steps off the walkway, the kids were gone. Nowhere to be seen. But I felt like I could still hear the laughing, and we kept going to our car. Once we were all locked in, my mom was crying. I have never seen such creepy kids in my life. Were they drunk? How could they be drunk? How were they out this late? What were they doing? Why do I feel sick? She had taught elementary school nearly half her life and seen just about every kind of kid, and that's saying something. Every once in a while we talk about it, but it ends rather quickly. Remember those kids? Is all one of us has to say, and then we are done talking about it. I think they were like ghosts. What's up, Robert Sharp? Trying to read. Any guesses on what animal can sound heavy, deep sounding grunts, growl? Don't leave tracks. I have hunted since I was 2. Familiar. These are new to me. Kevin, is it at your house, on your house somewhere, or in the woods? Is it near your house? Like, could they be on your roof? Polly Pete, that's a good one. Yeah. No, not on my roof. Is it when you're hunting? You got to remember, camping wasn't hold the weight. Camper wouldn't hold the weight. So here's something to think about with these things. Some of them, not all of them, but one good thing one thing I think about a lot is the Ute Native American that was out hunting one day. He's sitting up on this berm, and he's looking down into the field. And he's waiting for some deer to come walking in. And all of a sudden he sees this portal open 3 feet above the ground, and something dropped out. Not a Dogman, not a Bigfoot, just a very odd shaped creature. And he said he could see the portal. He could see into it, and it was just all black. So what if these portals open, but we can't see them open because we're not looking for them, and the noise is coming from them? Because like when I've been up to where Tom Mezek disappeared, I've heard some weird shit in the woods before there. Not besides just the metallic noise. I thought I've heard like some kind of growling noise or something, but never seen anything around me. Oh yeah, it's definitely a portal central there. So it might be right there. You know, you might be like right there. 100%. Delirium, that's interesting that you say that, because I have never ever given portals. The stairs are a creepypasta. That's literally, those stairs are written. They're all the creepypasta shit. They're like that. I'm a park ranger and I saw this happen. That's creepypasta stuff. There are stairs out in the woods that like are from old homes from like the 1800s and shit. But seeing random new stairs in the woods is creepypasta stuff. 100%. Thank you, Aramic. I forget the name of the show, but like right after that fucking YouTuber with the deep voice did that like awesome creepypasta about that. I love you too, Aramic. What is his name? He doesn't do YouTube anymore. But everyone thought that was real, and it was written by like one of the best creepypasta writers ever. But when I never gave portals a thought, I never really bought into it, just like I never really bought into the religious aspect of everything until the Tom Mezek case. And honestly, 2 years ago, when I caught that metallic noise, that's all I think about now is these portals. 100%. That's creepy. Just talking, Dogman. I'm making a hot sauce, lemon, sugar, salt, doing vinegar. And should I add some? Yes, add some bourbon, Andy Davis. Add some bourbon. 100%. Add some bourbon. But that only explains like where all these people. I really think like these portals are opening up, and like if you think about like all the 411s, nobody finds anything, right? But these people were there. Why aren't we finding something? You know, we'd have to, like with Tom Mezek or that new kid that just went missing up there in the Adirondacks in Newcomb. They searched 5 square miles. This was a man who could not run. Like, they would have found something. So I think these portals open, and it explains Alaska with the 20,000 people and 2,000 people disappearing yearly. Like, a portal open and they go to some dimension, or they go to a deep underground military base somewhere. Like, these things control these portals, open them up, something comes out, grabs the person, brings them, they get abducted, da da da. Like a new way of abduction. Fuck the UFOs. Yes, I cover stuff from Mexico. Yes. Like, fuck UFOs. You know? Like, that's old news. I think they did use them, and they probably still do. Obviously they do. We're seeing them all the time. But wouldn't it make more sense for these things, if they're that intelligent and they have this kind of power, to use a portal to abduct somebody? Then nobody sees them. Like, when Tom disappeared, there was a guy 200 yards away, and he didn't hear anything except the metallic noise that I captured. So, gone. But that's just a theory, because nobody's an expert. So, maybe Truth Quest. Maybe. I think the green mist storming Alaska, see, it wasn't a mist. How he explained it was, he was trying to explain, yes, Daniel Haynes, 100% portals were seen in Skinwalker Ranch. That green, the way he was explaining it to me, and the way I used the wording was wrong, kind of. It was a light. So imagine you're in a field or you're in the woods, and you see this green light, right? But it's not 20 feet in the air. It's like 10 feet in the air, and it's 100 feet out on each side, right? And it's kind of like moving in and out, but it's light. It's not a mist. Him and I were talking after everything, and he thinks that what that was a portal opening, in that light coming from that portal, you know, which is fucking weird. Yes. That's funny. Storm in Alaska and Lily Lewis both said the same thing. All right. I'm doing well, Lily. I'm doing well. How about you? Interdimensional, interplanetary, like, they're interdimensional. They can, like, we don't know where these portals go. They could be they could go to a whole different solar system, a whole different planetary system, or a whole different dimension. Like, what if these reptilian creatures are demons and they're these portals that we see go to hell? A little bit, 59th, that's what I was thinking. First, I don't have all the details. There's obviously a greater story here, a bigger picture, and I've only had a small glimpse of it. An experience that lasted a short few minutes, with the event constituting maybe 45 seconds. But I can't explain what happened in those 45 seconds. I can't wrap my head around it or reconcile it with what I know about the natural world and life, specifically the potential for life's development when not checked by some ever present environmental stressor or predator. A few years ago, I got a call from my brother in Arizona asking if I wanted to visit, maybe do a little hiking, eat at some Mexican restaurants he thought I'd like. He'd just gotten some big bonus at work and wanted to spend some time with me, his brother. I had a few vacation days saved up at work, so I agreed and took the necessary time off. Nothing of interest happened on the way there, and we met without any issue. He showed me around Phoenix, Tempe, and Chandler and treated me to some food. 2 days went by, and we branched out in our exploration of the state, visiting Sedona and a few other areas. I was set to leave on the 3rd when he suggested that we end my stay doing something outside. We'd already gone hiking, but he wanted to do another outdoorsy thing since he knew I wouldn't be able to do two once I got back home, where the weather is snowy and rainy. We found a decent place to camp for the day in southern Arizona, somewhat near the border, not far off from where we had hiked the day before. With Arizona being a desert, there was plenty of land and open space for us to spread out our stuff and relax. The drive there, which lasted a couple of hours, gave us time to chat and listen to a few bands we mutually enjoyed. We brought the usual camping supplies: tent, food, water, flashlights, flares, radio, etc. It was just one day, an evening, and a night, really, so we'd only brought the basic necessities. His truck was parked a half a mile away from our campsite to preserve the camping atmosphere while keeping it reasonably accessible for and visible distance. We spent most of the evening talking, catching up on anything we hadn't covered the first few days, and eating the leftover food we had saved from the past restaurant adventures. There was no one else there that we could see. The nearest road was a couple of miles from where we had parked. It was mostly flat desert in every direction, a cozy desolation. At around 10 p.m., just after we had finished dinner and gathered up our trash, we both saw something off to the north, about a half a mile from camp, a mound in the desert, but one that moved, seemingly to inch towards us every few seconds, not continuously, but in steady lurches, as if the energy or effort for each motion needed to be mustered. The mound was the same color as the sand, but even from the distance we had initially spotted it, we could tell that it was not made of sand. The surface, while sandy color, was fuzzy in a way that was highly uncomfortable to look at for more than a few seconds. I remember turning to my brother and seeing him wince and rub his eyes. I had to urge to do the same. For whatever reason, a mixture of awe and fear, maybe we stayed put, didn't move until the thing was only a few yards away. At that distance, the size of the thing finally registered. It was huge, an immense body that towered over us. I'm sure the sheer flatness of the area made it seem larger than it really was, but sitting before it, looking up at this wall of uncanny fuzziness, really gave the impression of enormity. I spoke with my brother several times since then, and each time we try to recall and describe it. We come up with new descriptions, not necessarily new details, but new forms, structures. We generally tend to settle on the admittedly odd description of a huge and dry washcloth, one that's been thoroughly used and left out for quite some time, scaled well beyond unusable portions, a haphazard shape, not necessarily formless, but spread out. Another description, one I offered, was a hideously blossoming flower, ugly petals unfurled. Arabic, thank you so much, my brother. Some larger than others, but without any uniform center. There were no eyes, no feelers, antennae, or identifiable organs, only a massive, ever mobile body. If given the means, the easiest way I could replicate the thing's overall structure would be if I were to take a ball of brown clay or dough, put it in every direction, and then insert tiny, almost microscopic pins all over the surface, thousands of them. Then somehow make those pins vibrate and give the dough itself sort of a buzzing, almost breathing like animation. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's honestly the clearest idea I can give. The best reproduction of how this thing idled. We stared at it without speaking, both feeling something more than just basic fear. When it got really uncomfortably close, I felt sick, not queasy or nauseous, but more like delirious, as if being in close proximity to it, there we go, had caused some sort of sudden neurological issue. While I didn't recognize it at the time, looking back now, I am certain that my mind had simply been unable or independently unwilling to fully grasp the thing's appearance. It was so unusual, so just not right. One of the parts, tentacles, tendrils, even the more general term, appendages, all felt weirdly inaccurate, drifted by me in what could have been a missed attempt to contact or simply another motion of self-propulsion. And I felt the space around me shift, get pulled away in a wake of the part. I was suddenly acutely aware of space I occupied, somehow became highly sensitive to the particles or whatever, and noticed how the stuff of that space had been drawn away from me. This interaction, phenomenon, whatever you want to call it, scared me more than the sight of the creature itself. The revelation that it could somehow subtract or brush aside the elements, the essence of the air, was absolutely terrifying. I heard my brother utter and then quickly stifle a cry and turned toward him just in time to see the passage of another part over his head, this one much larger than the one that had swept by me. The thing was now over us. I had expected to find teeth or a gaping maw or something like that beneath it. I think at the time I had mentally associated its appearance with that of an octopus or starfish, some multi-legged water-inhabiting creature. But having thought about it a lot, I can confidently say that neither is close enough or a worthwhile comparison. Their anatomies are too ordered, but there was just more of the same beneath it, more of that pulsing, buzzing, prickly flesh, which was so disconcerting to look at. Since it hadn't tried to eat or attack us, I got the idea that maybe it couldn't see us or sense us. I turned to my brother and mouthed, "Don't move." He didn't nod or mouth anything back, but it was obvious that he had already decided to stay still, likely out of sheer terror. We've had disagreements about the exact amount of time we spent beneath this thing, but agree that the creature's passage took between 20 to 45 seconds, and it felt so much longer than 20 seconds to me, maybe because I was so hyper aware of its bizarreness in relation to myself. I think my brother had been numbed by his perception of time while the thing passed over him. It had obviously affected us differently. I didn't turn around immediately, actually waited several minutes before even turning to my brother. When I did, I saw him breathing slowly, rhythmically, obviously trying to calm himself down. I, on the other hand, was weirdly relaxed, at least in the immediate physical sense. Terrified, sure, but I had been so thoroughly scared by things unwholesome and unpredictable in nature that my mind essentially said, to heck with it, and put me in that kind of blissful state. Like, why worry? Why waste the effort of being hysterical with something like that roaming around? Why run? You'll just die tired. When we finally turned around, there was nothing to be seen, just the same flat desert we had gazed upon earlier that day. I saw the truck just where we had parked it, and that was the only sizable thing in our sight for miles. The sand before and behind was disturbed, as if something large had rolled, crawled, or swept by, all actions at once. But there were no droppings, no slime, nothing to specifically attest to the creature's presence. We actually spent the rest of the night out there, speaking to one another only when we needed something, a bottle of water, a bag of jerky. We brought a radio, but neither of us bothered to use it. I had my earphones, but didn't even take them out or use my phone. Having just witnessed something so profoundly weird, there wasn't anything on the internet that could have amused, entertained, or intrigued me. We both, for hours, sat in silence. I remember sleeping, but couldn't tell you if I dreamed. My brother never mentioned dreaming on that night either. In the morning, we packed up our shit, quietly walked back to the truck, and then drove back to the house. We had a farewell breakfast at the diner not too far from the airport, and then I flew back home. We didn't discuss the experience until almost a year later, both having needed time to process. It wasn't like seeing a wild animal or a car crash or building collapse or anything worldly, mundane. There was an element of the unreal to it, something beyond the natural order of Earth and man's own creations. But at the time, the thing had seemed so comfortable with our world, so relaxed and assured of its place amongst the planet of insects, wolves, starfish, and humans. I don't know what we saw, but I do know that's probably the last time I will ever visit Arizona. What's up, non-fatable? Delirium, thank you so much. Awesome, brother. I will. I will. I definitely will. Thank you, Delirium. I appreciate you. What's up, Sean McCabe? How are you? I'm glad you won. Damn glad you won. So, what do you guys think about what that was? Some sort of, I don't even know if I'd call that alien. I'd call it like almost like nature being alive. I mean, it had no teeth. What's up, Libra Poet? How are you, dearie? How are you? I am good. Dude, oh shit, the cop is there. The cop just fucking left. He was not there all night. I just like looked out and he's gone. How fucked up is that? Happy New Year to you, Libra. Libra, I looked into the information that you sent me too. That's pretty deep shit. That's some weird stuff. AAA2. There's always a police officer parked by my house every Saturday for some reason. It's happened since I started my live. And it's weird because there's no cop that lives around me. I live in a business district. There's my building, the building that I live in. It was a dentist's office downstairs. And then when he died, the building is mine now. The upstairs, downstairs. And next door to me is an antique store with an apartment above it. There's a church further down the road, but no police officer. And there's always a police car every Saturday parked down the road. It's freaking weird. All right, you guys ready for the Lizzo, the lot lizard story tonight? We got the Lizzo. They've been surveilling me for years, SDL. All right. The loss to the family member one, Libra. The family member one is crazy. I didn't get the nursing book one. I didn't get the nurse book one. Send that to me again, please. Please and thank you. They are definitely not taking names, Truth Quest. I think they care more about the person that's talking than the person that's listening. Especially up here. They just want me to shut up. All right, here we go. You did? Fuck. I'm going to email you tomorrow about that, all Libra, okay? Because I wanted to ask you about that. All right, here we go. Lizzo is coming for Delirium's winnings. This one's a good one. The fluorescent lights of the Last Stop Oasis truck stop buzzed with agitated flies, doing little to dispel the proverbial gloom hanging over the air. The smell of stale coffee, deep-fried everything, and desperation clung to everything, even the questionable pleather booths. And then there was Lizzo. Lizzo wasn't your average lizard. For one, she was huge. Picture a Komodo dragon after a particularly indulgent Thanksgiving, and you're getting close. Second, she possessed a shocking shade of emerald green, like a radioactive pickle. And third, she was a lady of the night, albeit with scales and a rather unsettling grin. Her office was a secluded corner behind the gas pumps, marked by a single, slightly battered flamingo lawn ornament. Her clientele, predictably, long-haul truckers, hardened men who had seen their share of strange things on the road. But even they weren't prepared for Lizzo. Big Bobby, a man who had handlebar mustache, could double as windshield wipers, was her latest mark. He had just finished a plate of something vaguely resembling chili and was attempting to navigate the parking lot in his monstrous rig when he saw her, slithering out from behind the stack of tires. "Hey there, sugar," Lizzo purred, her voice a low, gravelly rumble that vibrated through Bobby's boots. "You look like you could use a little relaxation." Her tongue flickered out, tasting the air with predatory interest. Bobby, a man who once wrestled a badger for a half-eaten sandwich, was momentarily speechless. Are you talking to me? He stammered, his eyes wide as saucers. Lizzo, with a surprisingly agile hop for a creature of her size, perched herself on the bumper. Honey, who else? Come on, don't be shy. Lizzo got something special for the truckers who appreciate a little exotic. She winked. Bobby wore a small green scale flew into his ear. Panic began to bubble in Bobby's gut. He glanced around desperately, hoping for a witness, a hero, maybe even a particularly aggressive squirrel. But the truck stop was deserted, bathed in an eerie glow of the setting sun. Look, Miss Lizard, Bobby said, backing away slowly. I appreciate the offer, but I got a schedule to keep. And let's just say I'm not into reptiles. Lizzo chuckled, the sounds like rocks being tumbled in a cement mixer. Oh, you're going to regret this, sweet cheeks. I've got moves that'll make your engine overheat. I'm talking full body massage, tail whipping action, the whole enchilada. Bobby scrambled into the cab of his truck, practically ripping the door off the hinge. No, thank you, he yelled, fumbling with his keys. He started the engine with a roar, the tires spitting gravel as he desperately tried to escape the enormous lizard. Lizzo, however, was not easily deterred. She leapt onto the side mirror, her considerable weight making the whole truck wobble. Where do you think you're going, handsome? Lizzo doesn't give up so easy. Bobby, his heart hammering in his chest, took one last look at the grinning green face clinging to his mirror. He could practically feel her hot, scaly breath on his neck. He threw the truck into gear and, with screeching tires, sped out of the parking lot. Lizzo, still gamingly clinging to the side mirror for a few harrowing moments before finally tumbling off into a ditch. As Bobby drove, his vision blurred with terror and adrenaline, his reflection in the side mirror showing nothing but a shaken man and a lingering comical image of a green lizard attempting to seduce him. He shuddered and swore he heard a distant gravelly chuckle carried in the wind. Word spread quickly amongst the truckers. Stay away from the last stop oasis, one grizzled driver warned another on the CB. There's a lizard, a very enthusiastic. You don't want to meet. Lizzo, meanwhile, sat back at her post behind the gas pumps, licking her lips. Well, she muttered, adjusting her slightly askew flamingo. There's always next time. She surveyed the parking lot, her glowing yellow eyes hungry for the next client. The last stop oasis and its patrons were about to have more than just a few restless nights. The reign of the perverted, sexy, fat lot lizard prostitute was far from over. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. I told you these two were good tonight. Lizzo and Lester are going to have to meet up next time. Lizzo and Lester are going to have to just maybe have a little baby named Leonard. Leonard. Yeah, they're going to hook up. They're going to hook up deep. And they're going to give us Leonard. Leonard at the Sharing Stone. Thank you, STL. What's up, Clint? We're at the Gifted Rock. We're going to try to catch a Bigfoot. What did he try to catch Bigfoot with? A fucking bean? No, a piece of celery. Remember when that fucking Claude tried to catch a fucking Bigfoot with celery? We're going to catch a Bigfoot with celery. You fucking turd monkey. He's using a fucking chinchilla trap. Then he got knocked out. Remember he got knocked out by the river? Bigfoot's like this to him. He's like, oh, I'm knocked out. I got back to my house. How do I get back to my house from the Gifted Rock? Oh, shit. Yeah, he did. Good night, Maggie Mayhem. Flatardo. Flatardo. Oh. He was something else, man. He was something else. Then there was his fucking kid he put on the roof. Oh my fuck. What a fucking toolbox he was. The Appalachians are a fucking haunting place, my friend. Haunting. Yes, I remember the Harry and the Hendersons. Bigfoot tossed an Asian man toe in the fryer. You're welcome, Addicted. Anyone else put peanut butter on celery and stick raisins on the peanut butter as a kid? No. Nope. I had a friend that used to put peanut butter on the celery, though. I did not like celery as a kid. Let me find it, Libra. Was it the one about Leonardo DiCaprio, Libra? It was the one about Leonardo? Yeah, I read that one with the green. Randall Kennedy, thank you very much, my friend. We had a kid that we went to school with. His nickname was Skippy, and I'll give you one reason, one guess as why we called him Skippy. Put it this way, he was never allowed near his dog after his fucking mom and dad caught him. Yeah. Old fucking Skippy. That's what it was called. Ants on a log. Yeah, Scott. He bowled for high school sport. He was a bowler. Yeah, old Skippy. He was gross. He was gross. His dog was cute, though. Poor dog. I'm not lying about this. I'm really not lying about this. Like, upstate New York is fucking weird. Okay? Y'all think Deliverance was weird? Upstate New York is fucking weird. Yeehaw! It was a golden retriever. It was a beautiful dog. Just a beautiful dog. He was a bad, bad man. Fucking Skippy. Oh my God, I can't believe I remembered that. Oh, shit. Do something! All right, last encounter of the night, because literally this is the last one I have for the night. And it just happens to be a long one. That's what she said. It took moving 1,000 miles away to finally feel comfortable enough to finally share this. This happened just before my senior year of high school, over a period of 3 weeks in the summer. I was 17 years old, drug-free and sober. At the most, I took Advil for headaches every now and then. I just want to assure you that I was not in any way on any mind-altering substances. During the summer, my curfew was 11 p.m., and this occurred while driving home from my at the time, boyfriend's house, which took roughly 15 minutes, so let's say 10:45 at night. I was full of energy at this age and a night owl, so I was not even remotely tired. In fact, I was hyped up with the warm summer nighttime breeze, car windows down, singing along with the radio. I took a shortcut through the back roads to avoid going into the tiny city with the jerk cops. Also, one of the roads I took was super straight and flat, so I could literally speed, and it felt great as a teenager. But right before the road, I had to take 2 very close turns to get to it. Oh my God, I forgot about this one. I'm so glad I found this one. All right, I love this story. Here we go. But right before the road, I had to take 2 very close turns to get onto it. First, I'd take a right turn that was more than 90 degrees, almost back the way I had come. Then, exactly a half a mile, I would turn left onto the long straight road where I could really put the pedal to the metal. Since it was only a half a mile, I normally didn't speed up that much because the small stretch of road was more like packed gravel, and it would be a waste as I would have to slow down to turn left for the much better road to where I could really let loose. The tiny property on the inside corner of the left turn is where this all went down. A house had recently been built there, 2 stories with a detached garage, and it seemed odd how quickly it had been erected, as we built our family house and it took us over a year to finish it. I will start at the beginning because I believe this is all related. Week 1, I'm positively jamming to my music. The wind whipping through my car feels great. I'm relaxed in my very familiar drive home. I slow down to make my right turn onto the rough rural road, just bebopping along when my lights illuminate something stunning sitting on the corner of the road. It's a wolf, a real wolf, a solid white real wolf. I know the difference between my dog breeds and a wolf. I love watching dog competitions, wildlife documentaries, and even met a quarter wolf in person. They look different than domestic dogs. This was a wolf, and it was amazing. It blew my mind. I slow down even more while I turn the music down. I'm getting close to it, and I notice that it is not minding me at all. It is sitting perfectly still on the corner of the road, staring at the house, almost unblinking. Its ears didn't even flick towards me. All of its attention was focused on the house. I was so close I could have reached out my window and brushed the fur on the back of its head. I was smiling and amazed, but my mind was already churning. It made no sense for a wolf to behave like this, even less for there to be a white wolf in rural northern Alabama in the summer. I came to a complete stop behind it, marveling at its fur and presence. I felt euphoric, like I had seen something rare and blessed. My mind made me jump to the local native stories of animal spirit guardians and I started to wonder. I couldn't stay, though. My mom would never believe me if I told her I was late because of a spirit wolf. With a sigh, I said goodbye to the wolf and drove home in a better mood than ever. I got to see something special, and it filled me with emotions of joy and peace. Week 2, I'm driving home again, and I had been taking extra care to keep my eye out for the wolf, hoping to see him again around that area. So I drove extra slow with my window down and radio off. That was a horrible mistake. I should have realized what the presence of the guardian meant. It meant danger. Alas, I was on that short road approaching the new little house. Then I saw the thing that to this very day makes me question my sanity, my reality, and the possibility of the eldritch terrors of Lovecraft described. It was crouched right before the mailbox, its limbs folded and pulled in tight to its haunched posture, yet its head was still taller than the mailbox. It was a molded green and black with undertones of blue. It looked wet and slimy. Its head was elongated, allowing for an extended maw of razor sharp teeth. The upper half of its body looked emaciated, with barely more than a frog like thin skin pulled over its angular long bones, ropey muscles to hold it upright. And at the time of its grossly stretched arms were equally terrible long fingers, while its legs had bulk to them and looked equipped for running, with back facing knees for sprinting and tipped like a raptor's like claws. It looked to be maybe 7 feet tall, maybe more, just folded up into this predator posture, waiting for prey. Then there were its eyes, solid black and sunken. I still want to vomit thinking about them. Then I realized it's going to look at me, it's going to see me, and there's no avoiding it. Panic, terror unique to this alien thing swallowed me instantly, feeling like I was tilting off the world I had always known and into the abyss where monsters like this exist. I couldn't breathe, but I had to get my window up. I had to get my window up, or it would rip me out of the car and rip me apart with those teeth and claws. Blood would adorn the cabin of my car, and I would be an unsolved mystery. I had a manual crank window. Fuck me. I had to crank the window because I was scared of crashing into the water and not being able to get out of my car. Now I realize that there were worse things in this world to be afraid of than crashing into the water. Its head was turning towards me, and I let off the gas, but I was still getting closer. It made me want to scream, but I had to get my window up first. I'm cranking as hard as I could. I was starting to cry as I finally got the window closed, and then I pulled the gas pedal to the floor. Gravel road be damned. I thought I must not look at it as I passed. I must not look at it or make direct eye contact. I just shouldn't. It's not going good to connect these things. I already seen too much. My tires had found grip, and I started to launch forward, passing it. In my peripheral vision, I could see it started to unfold its limbs, which sent a terrible chill down my spine. I'm screwed. I'm really screwed. Fuck, fuck, fuck. I was mumbling through my tears as I slid around the turn, fishtailing for a moment before I rocketed down the road. I felt sick, my heart hammering. I had snot. I had snot and tears rolling down my face, and my hands were shaking. I glanced in the rearview mirror, and I could only see darkness. There were no street lamps here. I used the trick to tap my brake soft enough so the light would come on, but I wouldn't slow down. Red lit up the dust that was billowing up from my tires. But amidst the swirling chaos, I thought I saw a darker creature than the rest. A tall, thin shadow. I had enough and decided I was going to drive straight to the lighted roads. I was not going to get caught by this thing. When I got home, there was no one awake. I was pretty trusted to come home on time, so I called my boyfriend, crying to him for a long time, unable to explain. he was dismissive and thought I was pulling a joke on him. Then he finally thought I was just being crazy and seeing things. There are many reasons we didn't stay together, but his insensitivity contributed. Week 3, I refused to take the shortcuts anymore. For that reason, I would have to leave my boyfriend's house a bit earlier, and he would make fun of me about this all week. One of the days we went to the park to walk around. On the way back, he wanted to drive by the house where I saw the thing. I was hysterical, begging him not to drive there, but he wouldn't be dissuaded. So the closer we got, I could not tell him to stop. I leaned on my passenger side seat all the way back and pulled himself down, cowering in panic to get to this place. I hid below the window and covered my eyes. At one point, he stopped the car. "Spooky, you have to see this," he said. "No," I whined, resisting him, pulling my arm. "No, you really have to look," he said. Changing his tone to astonishment, tears in my eyes, I uncurled and slowly peeked over the rim of the window. The house was gone, burnt clear down to the foundation, with only a handful of framing beams standing. The ground around the house was blackened in a perfectly large circle. My boyfriend started to get out of the car, and I shouted, "No, let's get out of here." Well, I grabbed his arm, but he easily avoided me and got out. He walked around to the ashy piles of ruins for a bit, using a sticking pole. When he finally came back, he had an intense look on his face. There was no evidence of personal belongings, furniture, power wiring, or even the interior walls. It doesn't seem like a burnt out house. Something's weird. When we got to his house, we searched the news articles about any fires in the area or a house burnt down. There was nothing. He called the closest fire station and quickly brushed off by a person that answered as they don't know about the fire there, but didn't have time to find out before quickly hanging up. I never wanted to see that place again. I went out of my way to avoid the roads. My skin crawls, my eyes water. The thing that is nothing like any creature I have known to humans, yet I still saw it. This is in Moulton, Alabama. It happened the summer of 2002. So, what happened is so fucking nuts. That white wolf is sitting there watching this house. But the house, like she said, miraculously got built in like a day or two. The house is completely empty. There's nothing in it. It just burns down after she sees this fucking crazy monster creature. Absolutely insane. I love that story. I haven't heard that story for so long. All right. Guys, 2 hours, 43 minutes. I love you all. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me. And with that, I'm going to bid you all farewell. I'm going to do my best Ozzy impersonation. I love you all. But, guys, I had a blast tonight. Thank you. I'll see you next Saturday. And hopefully there'll be no snow to plow or shovel, so I won't be as tired as I am today. 59th, I'm almost there. Hopefully, I'll be there in 2025. I'll hit 100,000 in 2025. It's only taken me since 2017. So 8 years. I don't have any more stories, Charles. I already said that. All right, guys. Libra, don't forget to email me about the vampire thing. I want to hear more about that, please. All right. I love you all, guys. Thank you again. Sharon!